key to the understanding each other and key to being close to each other is the culture.
Balinese based on these two things called art and culture.
Does anybody know this?
When you are spirit, you have to above that, you more beyond. That's why you have to put these two elements together to have 10.
Some people may not be religious, but they are spiritual.
How can you talk to the God if you don't have a guide who you talk to?
You actually just enlightened me into something.
If you put two contrast color, black and white together, there's always a line. So don't put them together, there will be no line. Balinese has been always never follow the money. That's our way of life.
So sometimes you have to tell a lie so people go out and find the truth.
Mingle,
Make friends.
Make friends. When the Balinese start following the money, that's where the problem is. Almost all the Western book you read about Bali here, it's wrong.
Does not talk about right. Oko, thank you so much for joining me. I always have been a sort of looking as a scholar to you because you have accomplished a lot of things here on Bali. And it's not only construction and creating great spaces and admiring art, but really your spirit and you're giving, and I know you're giving to Bali and your things that you're doing for the culture here is way more important than building something here in terms of construction, in terms of restaurants and spaces. And that's also giving to Bali and giving to people that come here. So I thank you very much for joining. I thought about our, doing this discussion for a very long time, and I'm really glad that you're here.
Thank you. I'm honored too, with you, Marcus. So, we both love motorbike. That's we discuss a lot about that.
Yeah.
We love the speed. We love the road, the things. Only recently you more electric. Maybe I'm not agree with it a little bit, but
I don't. You know what? I'm still looking for my Harley.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm actually considering because it's ridiculous the prices for the new Harleys here. But I'm now considering buying something in Europe and short term. Yeah. Bringing it into here, so a new Sportster. I love the new Sportster.
I'm very old school. I'm not ready with electric yet.
Yeah,
Maybe someday.
No, it was just. By the way, I'm giving it away. You know that I'm giving it to what's his name? Here. So that's it. No more electric. And I said to my wife, she said, "Let's build a house first. We build a house. You get whatever you want." I said, "Okay, I want a bike. I want a Porsche."
Yeah.
So maybe.
Let me tell you about the silent Balinese culture in Balinese culture.
Please. This is really important.
You see, in this world, tourism era, when Western people come here, they love the silence, right? They love peace and quiet, this, so I can sleep. You go to church, you go, so everything has to be silent. That's very high philosophy for you, for the Western people. World is very important because there's so much noise out there and you're looking for peaceful thing like this. Bali, when it's silent, is something wrong. Always going to be hurricane come or something, storm coming.
Absolutely.
So we don't sleep. The sound is part of life here.
Absolutely.
The sound is important. So important itself. When the sun rise, before the sunrise, sound come up. The bird come, make noise. The cock, the chicken, to welcome the sun.
Mine starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning.
You see, this is where, the different, the silence is.
But jungle is not quiet either.
No, that's what I mean. That's what Bali is. It's a jungle, it's chaotic. But in all of that, you find harmony. Everybody play their own music, their own tone. That's where it fit so many people. It also fit for tourism as well. no doubt about it. It's the same thing like the way they love the food, for example. If you know, cook one, open one chicken, clean up everything. Balinese love dark meat. The Western people love white meat. Simple
love
as that.
dark meat.
Yeah,
I
you,
love
you know
dark
what I
meat.
mean in that way, right? So it's complete. When you ask Balinese, Balinese will love to live in a community, in a flat area where, neighbors, something like that. Western love the ocean, the river, see the mountain view, the cliffs, right? All the things, yeah. So it worked well.
Very
Worked
well. Very
it's,
well.
It's been designed. And then recently, now, Balinese never like sunset. We are sunrise people
Right.
because sunset means mosquito.
That's right.
Now you enjoy sunset in a bar. So Balinese start loving sunset.
Sunset as
So
well.
it's good that we love. But hopefully that love not gonna change you the way you see the clarity about the island. That's where to understand the knowledge, the real, about Bali is so important.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't believe that was like, oh, okay, Balinese always wake up and then wait for the sunset to happen and then they enjoy it. No, we always a sunrise people. Recently we enjoy sunset because we have, you as a guest here and then you
Our
tell us,
influence.
yeah, our influence. So very important, this gap is all this exists, because of, how that we influence each other, the good will stay, the bad you let go, you flush that in the toilet, something like that.
But we clearly understand that
Yes.
we are visitors here, and as long as we stay here, it doesn't matter how many years, we still continue to be visitors because Bali is a unique culture, and and even doing very deep learning, we still will not understand. It's a very interesting comparison. I will tell you, I compare it with something different. So, in my life, I was married 3 times. And I lived in New York for almost 30 years. So I was among, everyone spoke English around me, right? Everyone. But I was married 3 times, and 3 times I was married to a Russian-speaking woman. So the one was Ukrainian, one was Belarusian. Now one is from Moldova. Moldova. But the key to the understanding each other and key to being close to each other is the culture.
Yes.
Okay, and the culture was one of the main reasons why I married these women, right?
Yeah.
So I dated American girls, but there was no tie in the culture. So this is the same thing here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not our culture, right? And we need to respect that culture. I'm not saying that I stopped dating with American girls because of a different culture, but yet culture is very important. And I think one of the reasons really wanted, besides because you're a wonderful entrepreneur and really well accomplished, but most importantly, to talk about culture of Bali and talk about uniqueness of culture of Bali, talk about maybe things that we should understand more, right?
Yeah, because Balinese based on these 2 things called art and culture.
Right.
In Balinese called seni budaya. That's all Indonesian way.
Right.
Seni is art is father, culture is mother. Culture was born by the mother. The journey you take, that's the art form because there's no solid foundation. Father never born any children, always the mother.
Right.
So that's why we call it seni budaya, art and culture.
Seni budaya.
Yeah. So that's the foundation of the Balinese life. The left and the right, put together, they become pushpa. So the children born when these 2 together, the parent.
Very
the
interesting.
parent. So simple.
Does anybody know this? Father
Mother
and a mother
and the kid born,
and the children born.
Yeah, after that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Always that, yeah. They stand, the 5 elements from your father, 5 elements from your mother. They all have the element, but there's 2 sides, the right and the left. In all the animism, also even more raw is in Sumba. If you go to Sumba, there are 2 doors always in the room. The right door for the male, the left door for the woman. In Sumba, because they are animism.
Yeah.
Balinese are a mix of all these different things of spiritual, I mean, and then come Hinduism, influence Hindu Buddhism as a form of discipline. It's not a form of spirituality. Spirituality have no rule. Religion have rule.
That's next day.
When you are spirit, you have to above that religion. You more beyond.
Right.
That's why you have to put these two elements together to have 10.
So you can be spiritual but not religious.
Yeah, religious is a practice. The culture is born from the mother. Every kid born from their mother, not from their father. So that's why to reach the goal, golden year, goal is mother. So 50 years of your life is belong to your mother. And then every journey that you take, if you have 20 years, that means you die 70. If you have 30 years, you die 80. So that's the journey you take after that, right? So that's the father, the art and the culture. Every freedom you take, you have to take a journey. Then you understand the freedom. Otherwise, you cannot study the freedom. There's no guide, no book. But culture are written, right? Written and then taken. And then the best way is like this. All the book in the Western book to tell about Balinese culture are mostly wrong because it's been, lost in translation. Many things you can translate them, especially in English, very young language. You can translate them in that language. For example, temple, pura, in Bali called pura, in the home called merajan. But Western book all called temple.
Right.
Temple for God, no. It's for our ancestor. That's where we live, our grandfather, great-grandparents live. And we communicate to our relative, our ancestor, so the ancestor talk to God. So we need a guide. Every place that you visit, we don't live there. We live on the earth. So how can you talk to the God if you don't have a guide who you talk to, and then they can talk to the God? The real God is your parent, for sure, mother and father. They born you, they create you, right? So you talk to them, and they talk to their father, and their father talk to their father, until generation,
I really enjoyed the moment you said regarding the religious and spirituality.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite
simple.
very different. Some people may not be religious, but they are spiritual.
course.
So,
Yeah.
there's a very interesting movie I suggest for you to see.
Mostly
That-
Western people now are they very spiritual then.
Yeah. I will send you a link to a
Yeah.
movie. One of my favorite
Yeah.
movies. First of all, I love science fiction.
Yeah.
And science fiction, there's a movie called Contact.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you know the movie? It was Jodie
Foster, my favorite.
Foster.
Yeah.
You like that?
My favorite artist.
So,
Love that one.
so if you remember when they chose several people to fly to meet the extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
that machine that was built, and they interviewed her in front of the Senate, and they asked her a question. They said, "Are you a religious person?" And she said, "Well, as a scientist, I cannot. I am a spiritual person,
Yeah.
but I'm not a religious person." And then they said to her, "Well, there are 5 billion people that believe there is a higher being, so we don't think that the person who does not can represent the actual people from Earth." But very interesting
The
point.
same thing. Do you think a priest in Bali are a religious person? No, they're a spiritual person. Because priests never pray like any of us. He led you to pray, so he never pray. He's not
So this is a
religious.
good
He
point.
doesn't play the
Absolutely.
rule.
You know-
But he's a spiritual, guiding you to the spiritual world because he was chosen to be the guide to take. So he has to be spiritual, not religious. Religion are there. It's a discipline you have to follow because there's so many rules in there.
This is very interesting because you actually just enlightened me into something, because people sometimes ask me, "Are you a religious person?" And I don't know how to answer properly because I'm a spiritual person. And I never answered that I'm a spiritual person because I do believe that there is a higher being, right? And I go to pray sometimes too, and but at the same time, I didn't know the answer. The answer is spiritual.
Yeah, it's so simple. And then, like, you said, people ask me, oh, some atheist people ask you believe in God? Yes, I do. Oh, but you cannot speak to God. Yeah, I mean, have you seen God? Yes, I've seen him. I've seen my parents. They create me. But I don't know what they do. When I was young, I didn't know until I understand sex. Then I understand, oh, this is how they create me after that, right? So every children need by myth, by story. That's where you tell story to your kid. You don't tell them a fact. Sometimes you tell them a lie. So they find their own truth. That's how the spiritual is. The journey of the spiritual came from the untruth.
Interesting.
Then,
Another
it's
very interesting point.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to tell a lie.
Yeah.
So people go out and find the truth.
Yeah, because we all rebel when we're
Great
kids.
point.
If
Great
you tell
point.
you go to the right, you must thinking what is in the left side of the thing. You will for sure you're gonna go. But this is what the Balinese culture are. That's where there's not so much thing about written culture. It's about speaking, telling story. Story in Bali came from the old language called Satwa. Story means Satwa. Sat means essence. If you believe in it, it's going to be they're there. Tua means old. Tua, die. If you don't believe it, they're going to die. There's gone. Nothing there. So simple as that.
Very interesting.
So you got to believe, and then you come out there and to prove it. It's like your job to find the truth.
Tell me a little about your. Tell me about your journey. Let's talk about your
Yeah,
journey.
Yeah, long journey.
You're from Bali.
Yeah, Bali. From
Born
here,
where?
from Mas.
That's right. Your house. Is this
next door.
next door?
Born here, and Mas is an old village. What is Golden Village? They call it Golden Village. The old village is the bone of the mother. That's where the center of all the knowledge. They all come home to Mas to learn, to study. Yeah. So our generation, my generation, called Golden Generation, because we see the 60, the 70, the 80, the 90, until now, the oldest generation. We see in the old, I was, we go to school with barefoot things, until we do the modern, time goes so quick, and, until 86, 87, and a few friends offer a job to a ship. That time was SS Rotterdam from Holland. They came to our school, so we go there, and we flew to Amsterdam and then fly to New York. So I was a cook. Also doing flambe, making dessert, learning wine and everything. And then we went to San Francisco all the way from Panama. 89, and then there was an earthquake, 89 during the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can tell that I smoked so much marijuana we bring from Panama at that time. And then, we went to Germany as well to pick up the new ship, and we also have to Pleasant to get the wall. When they break the wall in 1989, bring to New York.
Yeah.
And I have a photo. That's where my only jewelry from then until now is my dog tag.
That's from Russia.
Yeah,
Comes from
that American USS. There are two signs. One the company sign that I take it off, and then this is my address in Bali. So what's that? Yeah. From there, went home, and then. I'm so crazy with Japanese culture and the Japanese food, so I opened the first Japanese restaurant here, 1990, this place.
Wow.
Called The Cafe.
The cafe.
And then we don't have so much, money, so we built our own. I was a carpenter since I was young. I'm a wood carver, painting. So I sketch all the design, and then I make my own. And then 96, we opened the first design company called BIJI Design. That's where they start the journey.
So where did BIJI come from? What's
BIJI means seed. A seed. Yeah, That's where BIJI called, the tagline of BIJI is, my father told me, plant the seed for tomorrow. Yeah.
Wonderful. it truly became a seed for
Yes,
tomorrow.
yeah. But also BG mean Buddha hair.
Uh-huh.
You know the
Hair of Buddha.
yeah, the circle, the Buddha. You know, they pull seed.
Oh, yeah.
Everything grow Buddha. Buddha in Bali mean earth, Mother Earth. Everything grow from Buddha. My father teach me once: Muslim is a water, Christianity is the rock, Judaism is the fire, Buddhism is a soil, Hinduism is an air. There's 5 elements you have to understand. If you understand them all, then you understand spirituality. Because you understand all the discipline of the world, from Judaism, Christianity, Muslim, Hinduism, and Buddhism. That's the 5 elements that
Very
must have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fire.
Fire.
Water, Muslim. The same fire and water, the same.
Very interesting.
They create air. You put fire and water together, they create air, they create
That's
Hinduism.
correct, of course.
And then the rock, without rock, to contain the water, you need to strength. That's why Christianity. Yeah. And then without soil, nothing grow. That's what BG is all about. Yeah, the Buddha hair.
That's
yeah.
a great one. You should have something. You should have something here expressing that. That's great.
No, it's everything, everywhere. You know, if you read Plant the Seed, Seni Budaya, Gratitude, every
okay.
written there already. I read, yeah. And then that's where we have the element of red room.
Yeah.
Red,
Yeah.
the fire. There are 3 colors, you know, the red, the black, and the white.
Yeah.
Red mean fire,
Right.
black mean water. The black water mean fresh water. White mean light.
Interesting. So
That's where you have that.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
You did?
Black, red, and white. That's the fundamental color of any color of the painters.
And what about the black and white? This
Yeah, check.
yeah,
Happy and sad.
not evil and
No, there's no such a thing evil and things. Yeah, not such a thing good and bad. What good for you doesn't mean good for me. What bad for you doesn't. Yeah, but that's divided. When my father say, when I say that, I ask him the same question. If you put 2 contrast color, black and white together, there's always a line.
Right.
So don't put them together, there will be no line. You see? So
Interesting.
these 3 colors create 3 colors. Black, they become green. That's where you see all the green here. Because black is the water, shined by the sun, they become green, they become moist. White, they become yellow and gold. That's why upstairs you see everywhere they have a golden thing and yellow and gold. Yeah. The only color never change is red. It's lust, passion, love, everything, you know, creativity. It's red, never change. It's real, never change. So there are 3 color, fundamental color, black, red is the Balinese flag, black, white, and red.
Right.
And there are 3 color, yellow or gold, green, and red. And then I asked, what about blue? I asked my father. I said, oh, blue is not a color. Blue is the sky.
Water. Water.
No, water is black.
Water is
Black,
black.
yeah. Blue is the sky. Reflection of that one, that's where we become blue planet because, you know,
It's not
we
a
observe.
color. Interesting.
All the ocean, we the only, you know. That's why I love this new movie. You know, what do you call it? The teacher went up to the sky not long ago. They sent him to save the earth because some particle eat the sun. They
Oh,
sent
yeah,
this teacher,
yeah. I saw the movie.
Yeah, I love
just
the
saw the
movie. You know,
Yeah, great movie.
This is what
Great
it's all
movie.
about, you know.
Yeah.
It's so much, and then he was all alone there, and he met the alien, you know. So reflection of all these
Yeah,
things.
great movie. He met The Rock.
Yeah, he met the rock with aliens. Yeah,
You didn't see the movie?
Oh,
Great movie.
so-
Great sci-fi.
very. I mean, beautiful. You know, like
Yeah, very nice. So then you built
BG. Yeah.
first.
Yes.
So this was built
This is
first.
the first one. Yeah, called the
So
cafe.
this was built when?
1990.
So the whole structure.
No.
like-
The whole structure was 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. And then, from the journey of the restaurant and BG Design, and then I have another restaurant in Ubud, and then Titi Batu, Surya Kumar, all my company. I took one full journey, and I said, when I'm 50, I'll be back here again. So I renovated the whole thing, and then I put everything I love here on the BG, called my world, BG World.
BIJI World.
Music is my world, motorbike, art, everything. So that's when it become BG World.
Interesting.
I love the people, the community, the things, yeah.
But you started to expand, so it started here, and then you started to build out restaurants. So what
way
was
before that. It's
Okay.
before that. This 7 years ago when I
No,
promised,
I mean
yeah,
the first place, the cafe,
here, and
the
then
cafe.
I expanded to BG Design.
Yeah.
So I
And BG Design was an architectural.
Bond was more that like design
Artist
interior,
studio.
yeah.
Okay,
Interior. I
design.
do fabric.
Interior
I
design.
mix between. I met my first wife here, and she graduated from Chelsea Art College. She's a weaver, and then she needed help in the fabric and everything. So we do combination of batik and things, on the design. So every cushions, in Elephant Park, Ubud, we build them here. We make them. I was doing it for them, and then tables. I design tables, and more people see at BG. Oh, I like what you do. Can you make it? Yes. I do the power of yes. Even though I cannot do that, I will study the next day and I'll do it again. Yeah. So until 96, 97, 98, 98, yeah. And then I have so many sketches of building. And then the GM of Hilton always come here, meet his wife here in my restaurant. So my sketch and said, can you build a house for me on that sketch? So I built Aum Villa. That's around 25 years ago. That's how I started become more into architecture.
Construction,
Yeah,
architecture.
construction. Yeah.
So do you do what you're building? Do you have a studio?
Yes,
Is that studio
yes,
still
yes,
does
yes.
still does
Still
the
does the
architectural
things.
design?
Yes, we do. We recruit a lot of young architects
Where's the studio?
in Sri Akamar near Tiribatu. Yeah.
Okay.
My office there. Yeah.
I would love to
Yeah,
visit.
please, yeah.
Yeah, would love to visit.
No, very
You know
simple.
that I'm an architect by first education.
Very, very simple there, clean, just computer thing. And I do at home, I sketch and then I give it to them and then they do the rest, yeah, with the things, yeah.
Great, fun.
I'm not good in technology and everything, so but we work with so many young talent, amazing. But so they're very good in drafting and everything. Yeah, we have engineering, things. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Bali is all about talent,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to arts. I mean, it's quite amazing. But what made you decide to start the gallery?
Yeah, I mean, it's my world. The world is always art. I love carving since I was young. So I don't like to show my carving. And then so many artists come to my studio that time, asked me to do exhibitions. So they open all the top artists in Bali love what I do. So they make exhibition for me in 96. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have my first exhibition of my carving, 1996. So I have more confidence. Yeah,
Of your stuff.
My stuff.
Well, why there's no? Where is your
They're
stuff?
all in Europe. Some of the collectors are still here. Some in the museum. Some, in Spain. Some in Japan. Some in New York. Yeah. And I still have some, by the studio. That carving, the lady with the
That's yours.
Yeah, the carving. Yeah, and then upstairs, one upstairs.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's 25 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. By the way, how many bikes do you own?
Right now, just still 6.
Still
I get
6?
rid the rest. Yeah.
What do you own?
I have, R90, that's my love, and then R27, 1954, R69S,
Do you take them out?
1962.
You
Yes,
take
I
them out sometimes?
Yes, I ride them. I love BMW,
I know.
and then
Noticed.
I love Triumph. I have to get rid of all the dirt bike, broke my leg to that, yeah. So I have Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
I have an old, classic 1989 Sportster.
Nice light
And
one.
Honda CB Twin, yeah.
Wonderful.
And then I love everything, like Motoguchi. There's two, Motoguchi. I love so much too, yeah. And then the old classic Royal Enfield as well, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Nice bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Great
promised
speech.
my wife, I said, let me buy many bikes as I like. So they become, my mistresses. So I'm not looking for any, I make a fair with my bike.
Talk to me. I mean, again, and Bali has changed
It's true.
quite so much. Even I first time I was here was 12 years ago, and in 12 years, I mean, Ubud hasn't really changed much,
So quick, so fast.
but everywhere else, everything has changed. And you have so many now foreigners living here, so many people creating businesses and creating opportunities for both,
Yeah.
local people. Any thoughts? I mean, any ideas, maybe any suggestions to people that come here
Yeah.
to do business?
True. Business is very important for Balinese, especially, the growth things, We always, the people in Bali we always believe Ubud will never change.
Right.
That's why they open Ubud for that. So for stability, for a little bit more, might be more conservative in that way, but important is not to change. But the force of the changing are so big, economically with money and everything, and suddenly Ubud changed instantly in 4 years, 4, 5, 10 years, become 360 degrees. It's so fast than any other places in Bali. That's alarm.
What's the point? The main point of attraction for
No, that's the alarming is that way. Yeah, but the thing is, why I said back to culture again. I remember my father say, when the Balinese start following the money, that's where the problem is. Balinese people never follow the money. Balinese people born, they follow by the money. That's where we become an artistic, creative, everything. We do what we love to do for us, for Balinese, for this island. And then attract another people, they love what we're doing.
Right.
That's why they came here. Now when it comes to be opposite, we're not prepared for that. We don't have the tools to follow the money.
It's true.
We don't have the mentality to follow the money. Balinese has been always never follow the money. That's our way of life. Let the money follow you. Mean we do something, we create very unique building, unique way of life, things, and then the people enjoy it. That's where they come. The tourism exists because of that. It's nothing to do. It's not because I build this first and then the tourists come. This is along the way, you come, you always be creative and then surprise. Yeah. The problem is Balinese start not doing something for themselves. We're always doing something for tourism. That's the problem. No, we're supposed to create more park, more things nicely, more clean river, more this thing. And my father once warning me one before he died, he said, the only people can destroy Bali is Balinese. No tourism, no Western, no Japanese, no Lombok people, nobody. Because we know better than any other people about this island. We have so much benefit from this one. I will be criticized by this, yeah, for sure. So for the good and the bad and the ugly, that's part of the community. We contribute. I contribute too for all of this. That's why we call it community, good, bad, and ugly. That's all exists. That's why we put together a community called Sukaduk, mean happy and sad, called Banjar. You know Banjar, mean Suka and Duka, the black and white. Suka mean happy, Duka means sad. When you're happy, you invite people. The community will come, party. Balinese love party, we love ceremony, ogo, everything, party. But someone died, like last week when my mother died. The whole community come to my house. They stay in my house, they cook everything. They don't let me to be sad. They come to you. When you sad, no invitation need. When you're happy for your party, you have to invite people.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Absolutely.
But this is what missing. We must now send this message. Start do something for Balinese. Clean the river, make nice park, make nice art. But this is we celebrate everything.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to interject for a second. Just
Yeah.
just really wanted to tell you maybe a little part of my story
Yeah.
that relates to your story, what you're saying right now. So, as you know, we're building here in Balinese. The little village is Vanayu.
What are you? I know. Yeah.
So we're basically the only developer in this village, and we're now in various stages to build 5 projects there along the river, rice fields. Amazing! I think we found probably one of the best locations. But the concept there, and we're working with the head of the village and Banjar to create a community. What does that mean?
Mean you walk with them.
Yes.
He said,
but
I always tell them, don't walk. You don't walk for me. If I create something, no, walk with me. For example, if I do this, you do something else to support all. We support as community. Like in Wanayu, you said, you walk with them. Mean they're gonna create the nice warung. They're gonna create a walking space. They're gonna clean more the
They
river
are.
because you have Pulu there. You have to understand. I know very well that village, and Pulu is the other side of you.
Yes.
That's very ancient, old, before Hinduism in Bali. That's actually they exist. But they have a walking place, the longest walking place in Wanayu, all the way down to Blabatu.
Uh-huh. Yeah. From there.
From there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only place. First in the beginning, where people start that one. Wow. So Balinese used to walk everywhere until we discover motorbike. Like me, I was crazy with motorbike. But I was not,
To Batur or to
everywhere. Before we walk
No,
everywhere.
I understand. You said
Blabatu is the other village. Yeah.
Blabatu.
Long. It's almost very far. Long, all the way.
So do you know that we just was fixed?
Yeah.
So they cemented this
Yeah.
whole little road. And we take people that come to see us, we take them to the road. We say, nowhere in the wood.
Yeah.
No,
Nowhere.
maybe nowhere in
I know,
Bali.
I know.
Nowhere in Bali there is
yeah.
this road.
There are many places like that. That's what I mean. Why we have to do something for us.
Yeah.
I walk every day. I walk. Since I quit cigarette, I did to walk. Otherwise, I get heavier, bigger, and bigger. So.
But my story is, I didn't finish my story. The story is that we're building 5 closed and small projects.
Yeah.
At the same time, when you walk out, you are in one of the oldest villages on Bali. So we are creating children's playground,
True.
A cafe. We're going to help create warung, a gallery, a gift shop, a bicycle rental, so people can go on this road. And all these things will be managed by the community, by locals. Plus, we get kickback from our management company, from Bali Superhost.
Yeah.
3%. They charge 15% management fee. We get 3%. So we created a separate bank account, where once they haven't started because we haven't launched the first one is launched this month. But all that money, that 3% will go into this fund, will go to support the infrastructure and what we're going to help build together with the local community. So that money we will never touch. It'll be expenses fixing the roads, cleaning the channels, lighting, everything.
Must be there, yeah.
So this is our contribution to
Yeah,
the community. It's important.
That's why I built Titi Batu in the beginning. When I built Titi Batu for the first time, nobody said, "Oh, why did you build that so far from Ubud? Who's going to come there?" I said, yes, not just Titi Batu, the rest of it. We have the school, we invite the school, we invite the community. We have the park before, during Earth Day with Michael Franti. And then people come, they have home, village centers in between. And that's the temple. Those people are from the temple in the corner there. Yeah. So we do that. We all combine all this together, So that's how you form the community. It's not the same. Like community is this three things, good, bad, everything has to be there. But many Western community now, because it become a yoga community, it's like almost like a cult, because they're all the same, and they will judge you if you don't look the same.
You created so much here, and you have a lot of people that are coming here. I think that I'd like to your thoughts, like to do or not to do, right? Your thoughts, what do you think is the future here, right?
The community is not about telling them. You know, when you tell the community to do this, they will not do it. You have to show them.
Show them. Absolutely.
That's how the community are formed. We not become a preacher. We don't have a preacher in Bali. We have a mangku. I mean, you know, we have priests. In the Western, they call it priests, but we don't call them priests. We call them badanda. We call them guru.
Guru.
Guru also can be parent and be representative of the God also. You see? So there's so many things that English cannot translate. That's why
Absolutely.
lost in translation. I can say all the book,
Actually, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
You've seen.
Yes. almost all the Western book you read about Bali here, is wrong.
Does not talk about right. I think for the past 30 years, there's been a large inflow of investments from foreigners. Of course, the initial ones were building large hotel
yes.
complexes, and that continues to expand as well. But there are many more entrepreneurs that came to this country that are building smaller, also large projects as well, but also building infrastructure project, building plants to produce stuff for construction. What has been your experience with foreign investors coming into Bali?
No, it's been amazing, but it's been enjoying by the big company before.
Right.
But now recently it was go down to community, you know. But that's where some are ready for that investment, some are not because they don't have the knowledge.
Right.
The amazing thing about this investment is like, you know, like it come to the Balinese life, right, in the community and everything. Before you only have one gamelan set of music thing in the village. Now every community can afford it. Right. The temple become more gold, more carving, everything, you know. There was one say less is more in Bali because it's quality. Now more and more. The problem is the grid.
Right, but let me ask you a question. I mentioned to you what we are doing in Vanayu and what we're doing with the community, and truly we want to unite this and give back to the community. We feel it's important. We're living here. You know, I'm going to have a baby here.
Yeah.
We're actually my partner Vitaly had a baby here, and so we're deepening our roots, and we feel it's important to give back to the community. Do you have cases where foreigners are doing the same? Do you know of foreigners that are giving back to the community? Investors?
Many.
Many.
But sometimes, you know, money could be problem, money could be help. But many of them are a problem because they're not ready to receive it. They don't used to. You see like this. And our community is like, if you give your kid the money, they will spend it.
Yes.
If you give them so much land, they will rent it or sell it. If you give them more education, they will try to find more, you know, how to keep, where to sell, so they make better decision in their life. Education is not make them smart, but they make better decision. When the money flow so much in Bali, they forget one thing, education. So we start making bad decisions. Instead of, you know, using to put the kid to the school thing, we do gambling. Balinese love gambling. We buy more car. And every household have many more motorbike like me, you know, but I would love, it's a different case. You know what I mean? It's like more and more and more, it's never stop up, you know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I had this thought from the beginning when coming here to Bali. So I've been in investment banking and corporate finance all my life. I've actually taught people negotiation skills, how to sell, how to communicate with people. And I thought about it, and the biggest problem, I think you just addressing that problem is Balinese, that they get money, they go buy cars, they spend the money, right? wouldn't it be a good idea to create some kind of education?
Must be.
Okay, can we do this together? Can you do this? I will be the teacher.
That's a must. He said like this, if you give them more tools, they will do it. They're very creative people here.
Right.
If you give them money, easy, money for spending. They don't know how to save.
Okay.
Because it's a very simple
Do you think
way.
you would be able to unite some group of? I would love to
of
give.
course, but Balinese, they cannot live alone, because he said like this, the backbone of the Balinese life is the woman. Woman is the mother. You will see now, this is the rise of the woman now in Bali, because so much time for men, for a long time. Finally now, you will see every department run by the women.
Yes.
Very strong. Men live with their mother. They choose to live with the mother. They choose the men's, so it's men's world, men's life.
Right.
In a community, in a group of people, there's always men. Men cannot live alone, because when there's something happen, they cannot wait to tell their friend. Something good happened. But when something good happened to Balinese woman, they will never share it.
Right.
If it's something bad, they will share it.
Let me
That's
ask.
the opposite.
Let me ask you a question. If I will put together
Yes.
an educational program, a fun program,
Yes.
not just like straight talking to people who don't understand. So in order to make that program for them understand, it has to be a fun program.
Good.
If I put this together, would you put together like a community
Of course,
people to come and hear me out and listen to
Sure. Yeah, sure.
We'll bring some
Because every Friday we have here the program called Fast Forward. We have Balinese and things. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
It's been already almost 3 months now. 3 months or 4 months, yeah. We have Balinese speaker, entrepreneur here, Western speaker, investor, to speak with the community. So we have normally like 80, 100 audience to listen to this. So we will talk. You can talk about your program, your education things, about whatever that you talk.
I would love
in
to.
In our room. We call Red Room. It's a media. It's like a TED Talk, but it's not a TED Talk. But it's called, it's this platform to speak out.
Okay,
to share.
I'm leaving on Tuesday, but I'll be back on the 24th. Maybe the end of the month. Or,
True. Yeah, meet our team. So we scheduled that you talk to community how things, and then someday
Talk to them about investments and how
investment,
they
and
should
then
handle money.
Someday these people who come here will spread it out. These things, there will be a village. You can start with your village. That's can continues like that. Okay. But first, show the idea to the community. To the people who are here, who live in the wood. I think it's important.
Very important.
If you want to make the changing, this the only way. It's not the money. Money flow every day in Bali, thousand of dollars. But education is the key.
Very important.
Yeah, very super important.
Good, great undertaking, great idea.
Yeah.
Interpreter, spiritual person. How does that connect? Priest and entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's the same thing. We put spirit. Every person, you have to wake up their spirit. This way spirit also alcohol.
Right. Exactly.
Same thing. The same thing how it works.
Focus.
But entrepreneur is beyond numbers. Business is 1 + 1 is 2. Entrepreneur is 1 + 1, 3. Why 3? We're adding one more. So the same way with spirituality, with this, we push the spirit, the energy to rise up. So the heat always going up. So wake up the brain. When you make building, that's where you have the gap there to push the heat going up, to suck the heat to the air. Sometimes there's a mistake. They put the closed building with the pan. So actually they push the heat down. The same way where we push the heat going up to your brain. So the spirit you can think.
Very interesting.
And the other way is going down. When you sleep, you have to have a warm fit. So your head is colder, so you can rest. When people die, it's opposite. My father died, I'm the only one. My mom died too safe, so I hold. Her stomach's still warm. Everything, the body's still warm for 1 hour, slowly going up, and people break down there. If you're gonna sleep well, you have to have a nice warm, your feet warm, very nice, and your head is colder. Then you sleep well. So simple.
Absolutely.
So where the heat are between the life and death is a different way. For the same energy, where it's supposed to go, where it's supposed to be. This is where entrepreneur, to lead them, for something that not exist, you have to make sure there's existence. Yeah.
Create.
The
Interesting.
create, yeah.
One last thing, just wanna, any advice to people that come to Bali? I mean, maybe advice, business advice or other.
Yeah, mingle. Mingle mean, I ask so many Western people, also my friend, many new tourists coming to Bali. Oh, you have a Balinese friend? Oh yeah, I have. I always talk to my driver, this, They're not your friend. They're your driver, they're your helper. Friend, like, you communicate with, you go have a drink with, I suggest that one. That's what beginning of Bali before are, because we make friends. Mingle, yeah. Make friends. Best deal with, you say like this, family born, you have a family for one reason. That's where you can fight, you can kill each other, you can kill the king, one king, it's all family dispute. Because you never lose your family.
Absolutely.
Friend you will lose.
Absolutely.
This way, make friend.
Make friends.
Yeah. The only way to get life is like that.
Thank you so much, Freddie. Thank you.